Hi, good evening, dear friends. Lots of gratitude for your support and partnership and friendship. This is Efrat from Jerusalem. Several times in our vigil here, I've pointed out that when we speak or think about Israel, it's important to understand that we are referring to a complex reality made up of multiple streams, perspectives, mode of action, and diverse political position. Last week, I brought here the heaviness and difficulty of recent events and divisions. This evening, I am sharing with you the words of Simcha and Leah Goldin, the parents of Hadar Goldin, who was kidnapped by Hamas 11 years ago and whose body was returned yesterday after an unrelenting struggle around the world to bring him back. I share their world as they are, and through them I ask to present another face of Israeli society. Those faces of people who speaks out loud about bringing back the basic values of Israel. I mentioned before the special and unique combination between the religious Jewish commandment, mitzvah, of redeeming captive, pidyon shvuim, and the Israeli ethos, says never leaving wounded behind. Their parents spoke about the relief and closure now that the body of their son has been returned after more than 11 years. Leah Goldin, his mother, emphasized three key values that guided her struggle: friendship, burial in Israel, and human dignity. She also said she is not only fighting for Hadar, but for the other four hostages still captive by the Hamas. Simcha Goldin praised the role of the Israel Defense Force, saying, and I quote, that the IDF brought Hadar back to his homeland, no one else. By emphasizing this, he referred to the Prime Minister and the government who did not bring Hadar back, although there was some opportunities to do so during all these years. He underlined that victory means returning soldiers and hostages, not in the warfields. Both parents warned again abounding the principle that soldier and fallen must be retrieved, and urged that Israel must not compromise on such values. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Efrat. This is Helen. I would like to say two things before we begin. One is that Uta is present among the listeners, but she is on vacation, so I will lead the meditation. And the second is that I have a heavy cold, and I hope that my voice is can be heard, and it won't bother you. We're coming back now to Syria as long ago because Medulani Ahmad al-Shara is scheduled to visit the White House today. He's probably there or already finished his visit. It marks the first time a Syrian head of state has been invited to the White House since Syria's independence in 1946. That's a long time. The agenda of this visit is focused on solidifying a new phase of US-Syria relations and fostering cooperation. El-Sharra, Julani, aims to leverage this visit to gain support in rebuilding Syria and securing international legitimacy. Interesting about the legitimacy. I was interested to know what the Syrian people think about that. But you can't listen to Syrians in Syria, at least not from here, from Israel. And I don't know if they can make themselves heard in general. So I heard a few podcasts of what is called the Syrian diaspora in the West and in Russia. And I will share today on what I perceived from what Syrians who fled their country say about this event in Washington. Again, in a nutshell, and from what I perceived while hearing them. So Syrian in the Western diaspora are cautiously optimistic. Many view the visit as a historic and important step towards Syria's reintegration into the international community after years of war and isolation under the Assad regime. There is this huge need of financial aid from the West that has itself sanctioned Syria for decades. What would be the possible impact of the United States' interests on Syria's sovereignty? They ask. They also express concern over El-Sharra past affiliations as former leader of the HTS, which is which has had at least Al-Qaeda links. And they remain very wary about his political agenda. At the same time, there is appreciation for his efforts to connect with this diaspora and involve them in Syria's future. He reached out for them, which is something that I didn't know at all. And uh, it's good to know. The Syrians living in Russia have mixed reactions to Giuliani, to this visit to Washington. Some see it as a significant diplomatic success that could help Syria break out of international isolation and attract much needed economic support for reconstruction. Many also acknowledge the importance of reintegrating Syria into the international community to move past the long years of war and sanctions. However, this visit also raises concerns within the Syrian diaspora in Russia about constraints the United States might impose on Syria's ties with Russia. The US is closely watching the Moscow-Damascus relationship and is likely to pressure El-Sharra to limit cooperation with Russia. This reflects competition, geopolitical competition, and some Syrians in Russia view the Washington visit with cautious skepticism. They're concerned about the balance between US and Russia and their influences on Syria's future. So it is a complex move, leave alone the different interests in the Arab world, the separatism and factions in the Arab world that makes things so difficult. Still, diplomacy is beginning to replace, hopefully, the military. A new trend in the Middle East? Voilà, inshallah. Inshallah. Still very much orchestrated by the West, while BRICS continues working with much less noise. But maybe, yes, an example of what? Maybe repair? Anyways, time will tell. Thank you. And now we will enter our service work in meditation. And settle in our body in the inner silence. Touching base with our heart between the shoulder blades, sensing it purified so it can hold complex situations in harmlessness. We collect our mental forces in the center of the head. From here, expanding into an inclusive planetary perspective, standing as the soul in incarnation in the will to love. We visualize ourselves coming together, reaching out to each other, heart to heart, mind to mind, soul to soul. We are part of the Ajna center of the planet, in resonance with all soul-guided servers around the world. Standing calm, like on a pinnacle, in the midway point between hierarchy and humanity. We turn our eyes now towards struggling humanity, just overlooking this complex, fluctuating situation on our planet. And seeing within it the Middle East as a focal point. A focal point where so many forces are meeting. Observing for a moment this intense planetary vortex, how it's playing out humanity's ancient karmic issues, and how it's affecting the whole of humanity. Let us now open to our ashramic co-workers, sensing their wisdom and their protective presence. In their light, let us intuit transmutation of the present solar plexus of the planets, with its old crystallized thought forms, separativeness, narrow identities, claims, and let's visualize the awakening of the heart of humanity. And the awakening of soul consciousness. Let's visualize decisions being made, decisions based upon good faith and for the good of all. We invoke now the Lords of Liberation to our aid for this work of evoking the soul light of humanity and forging together a path for the saving force. Let the Lords of Liberation issue forth. Let them bring succors to the sons of men. Let the rider from the secret place come forth, and coming save. Come forth, Almighty One. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth. The end of woe has come. Come forth, Almighty One. The hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, Almighty One. Let light and love and power and death fulfill the purpose of the coming one. The will to save is here. The love to carry forth the work is widely spread abroad. The active aid of all who know the truth is also here. Come forth, Almighty One, and blend these three. Construct a great defending wall. The rule of evil now must end. See and sense a shaft of golden white light, broad and brilliant, flood West Asia, West Asia. See a huge column of light pouring through all planes. Hold this column steady in the will to peace. See soul light flooding the mental plane of the Middle East. See soul light pouring into the astral plane of the Middle East. See soul light pouring in the etheric physical plane of the Middle East, penetrating into the earth through accurate acupuncture points. Joining with the Devic forces, transmuting the ancient records of evil. Dissolving and purifying them into the recognition that every human life is sacred. Let's take a minute to see this work proceeding. Visualize the saving force spreading in the Middle East, being active in each nation, in each ethnic group, and in each religious group. Visualize the principle of the highest good of all gradually and steadily establishing itself. And on this basis, peace will come about. Let us affirm this will as we sound the great invocation in Arabic and in Hebrew. The great invocation, الطلبة الكبيرة. من نقطة النور في العقل الإلهي ليشع النور في عقول الناس وليهبط النور إلى الأرض. من نقطة الحب في القلب الإلهي ليتسرب الحب إلى قلوب الناس وليرجع معلم الكون إلى الأرض. من المركز الذي تعرف منها إرادة الله لتكون الغاية إرادة الناس البسيطة، تلك الغاية والتي يدركها المعلمون ويخدمونها. من المركز الذي ندعو بالجنس البشري لينتج تسمين الحب والنور ويختم على الباب الذي يقيم به الشر، ليجدد النور والحب والقوة التسمين على الأرض. الله أمين.
The Great Invocation, הקריאה הגדולה. מנקודת האור אשר בדעת אל, יזרום האור אל דעת האדם, ירד האור על פני האדמה. מנקודת האהבה אשר בלב האל, תזרום האהבה אל לבבות אנוש. ישוב מורה עולם על פני האדמה. מהמרכז שבו נודע רצון האל, תנחה תכלית את רצונות אדם, תכלית אותה מורי האנושות יודעים ומשרתים. מהמרכז אשר נקרא המין האנושי, תוגשם תוכנית האהבה והאור, ויחתם הפתח אל הרע. יהי רצון, ויחדשו אור אהבה ועוצמה, את התוכנית על פני האדמה. אמן.